Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cooking with Rod, where we're growing fresh food one bucket at a time here in the Sky Garden. It's hard to believe we already into week 8, and the transformation over the past couple of months has been incredible. What started as a collection of small seedlings is quickly becoming a productive urban vegetable garden. The tomato plants are stretching higher every week. The peppers continue setting more fruit. The lettuce keeps rewarding us with fresh harvests, and the herbs are filling in beautifully beneath the larger plants. One of the most exciting parts about this project has been watching how much food can be produced in a small balcony space using simple white bucket containers. Every week brings something new, whether it's another flower opening, another pepper forming, or another harvest heading straight to the kitchen. This week also brings another chapter in the story of the mystery pepper from our mislabeled Canadian tire plant. We've harvested more peppers, gathered more clues, and we're getting closer to finding out exactly what variety it is. Let's head out to the balcony and see how everything has grown this week. Welcome back to Cooking with Rod. We're in the Sky Garden on week 8 for the garden tour. Here we go. Down the end here, we have our 5-year-old garlic chive plant. Coming along pretty well. I use that all the time. Then we have our bell peppers. Now the bell peppers, if you look real close down here, you can see that there are a few bell peppers forming on there. Then over here we have another bell pepper. There's a couple there. And of course down the bottom we have our lettuce. Been having salads off of that. I think I might have to cut those because it's going to be really hot for the next week, and if they bolt, they get if they go to seed, they get very bitter, so we don't want that. Then next up we have what we thought were cubanella sweet peppers, but we put some in our salad the other day and they are definitely not sweet. So I'm trying to figure out exactly what these are, and we'll talk about that more at the end. Then we have some onions down the bottom of our supposedly sweet peppers. We're gonna get to the bottom of that. More sweet peppers / don't know what they are in that pot. A few green onions down in there too. And our basil plant, which is getting really tall. I have to chop that because it keeps blowing over in the wind. It's kind of windy up here on the 17th floor. Our parsley plant, nothing to write home about there. Now our first sweet million cherry tomatoes is getting super tall, way up there, almost up to the roof. Where's the roof? There we go. So getting right up there. Lots of little tomato clusters on there. And another one over here. Then we have our slicing tomato, beefsteak style. It's determinate tomato, so it will only get so big and it will stop growing. But we have, if we can find them, there we go. We have a little bunch of those on there. And another sweet million. And yeah, lots on there too. There's another bunch up in here. If we can see them, they're hard to find. Lots of flowers happening too, so that's good. Then we have our first of the Roma tomatoes. Again, it's a determinate tomato, so it'll only get so big. Lots of flowers in there. There are some actual tomatoes down here somewhere if we can find them. There's one back in there. There we go. You can see one there. And here's the cucumbers. They're coming along okay. No flowers yet because I planted them way late and planted them from seed. So they're very late. Now we have another Roma tomato. Lots of flowers on that. There's some little tomatoes down there that you can see. Then, oh, I gotta squeeze by. I gotta squeeze by there every week. Okay, then we got another Roma. More flowers. There are some on here that I saw earlier. Oh, they're over here. Wait a second. There we go. Hiding behind the leaves there. Some more. Okay, now we have the Scotch bonnet with some radishes in the bottom. There's the radishes down there. Scotch bonnet. Okay, there's a couple going on here. There's one right there. One in the back there. Then we have our jalapeños with more radishes in the bottom. Jalapeños on there too. Another jalapeno with radishes in the bottom. There's a bunch back in there. Then we have our yellow beans, which if we just kind of part the ways here, there's a whole bunch down in there. I'm gonna pick those later and have a little in with my little salad with that lettuce that we showed down there. Okay, now we're getting into the back part here. We have our green onions. Gotta thin those out soon. This is gonna be spinach. I planted these way too late. Next year I'll get a better jump. More spinach. Then we have a severely stunted pepper plant. I planted that from seed and I left it in the small container way too long, so it's a bit messed up. And down in the bottom here we have some lettuce just poking through, and then our other tomato plant that I grew from seed. Again, I left it in the small pot too long, so it's way behind, but it seems to be doing okay. A little more lettuce down in the bottom there. So that's about it for the garden tour. Let me squeeze out here. Holy smokes. Gotta lose some weight. And a big truck going by. Anyway, there we go for week 8 of the Sky Garden. Coming along very nicely. Next up, I'm going to talk about that mystery pepper plant that we have going. And then that's it. One of the biggest surprises in this year's Sky Garden has turned into something I never expected. A gardening mystery that becomes one of my favorite parts of the season. Earlier this spring, I picked up what was supposed to be a Cuban-era sweet pepper plant from Canadian Tire. It looked healthy and the tag looked right. And into the bucket it went with the rest of the garden. For the first several weeks, everything looked completely normal. The plant grew well, produced flowers, and began setting fruit, just like the other peppers. But as those first peppers started getting bigger, I realized something wasn't adding up. Instead of the variety pictured on the plant tag, these peppers developed into long, curved green peppers with a completely different shape. The more they grew, the more obvious it became that the plant had been mislabeled somewhere before it had reached the store. Of course, they only made things more interesting. Rather than being disappointed, I decided to let the mystery unfold and see what kind of pepper we actually ended up growing. The first harvest answered one important question. They're definitely hot. When I tasted the first pepper, it packed considerably more heat than a jalapeno. It wasn't overwhelming, but it certainly wasn't a sweet pepper that I thought I had planted. That immediately ruled out several possibilities and started a lot of discussion in the comments. Since then, many of you have shared your own guesses. Some believe it's a Cowhorn pepper because of the broad shoulders and dramatic curved shape. Others think it's a long cayenne variety because the peppers have relatively thin walls and a stronger level of heat. I've spent quite a bit of time comparing photos and reading about the different varieties, and at this point, both of those possibilities still seem very reasonable. This week's harvest gives us more clues. Now that several peppers have reached full size, we can really see the consistency of the plant. Almost every pepper has the same long curved shape, and now we've harvested our first fully red pepper as well. Watching them change color gives us another piece of the puzzle. And with every new harvest, we're getting a little closer to identifying exactly what the mystery plant really is. The fun part is that gardening doesn't always go exactly according to plan. Sometimes seeds get mixed up at the greenhouse. Sometimes labels are placed on the wrong trays. Occasionally, a completely different variety finds its way into your garden. While that can certainly be frustrating if you're expecting a specific crop, it can also lead to unexpected discoveries like this one. In our case, that simple labeling mistake has become one of the most entertaining stories of the entire Sky Garden season. Every week, I find myself looking at these peppers a little more closely, comparing their shape, watching how they ripen, and trying to match them with known varieties. Regardless of what they eventually turn out to be, one thing is absolutely certain. They're producing incredibly well. The plant is loaded with healthy peppers, new flowers continue to appear, and it shows no signs of slowing down. That's exactly what you're hoping for in a container garden. The mystery isn't over just yet though. As more peppers ripen over the coming weeks, we'll keep following the evidence. Their final color, mature size, heat level, and overall production may eventually reveal exactly what variety we're growing. Until then, I enjoy the mystery just as much as the harvest itself. If you think you know what this pepper is, I'd love to hear your opinion. Leave your best guess in the comments below and tell us why you think you've solved the mystery. With so many experienced gardeners watching these weekly updates, maybe together we'll finally identify our unexpected Canadian Tire surprise before the growing season comes to an end. And here's the harvest from this week. Mostly lettuce so far and some of those mystery peppers. Well, that wraps up another exciting week here in the Sky Garden. And what a difference another 7 days can make. Every time I step out onto the balcony, I'm reminded that gardening is a journey of constant change. New flowers open, vegetables grow larger, fresh harvests become ready, and every week brings something new to discover. This week gave us another beautiful harvest of crisp lettuce, more hot peppers, and another chapter in the story of our mystery Canadian Tire pepper. We started as a simple mislabeled plant and has turned into one of the highlights of this entire gardening season. And I have to admit, I'm having just as much fun trying to identify it as I am harvesting it. Tomatoes continue climbing higher. More flowers are appearing every day, and those first clusters of tomatoes are developing beautifully. The peppers show no signs of slowing down. The herbs are thriving, and the lettuce continues to reward us with fresh harvest after fresh harvest. It's exciting to see all those containers working together to create a productive little garden. One of the goals of this series has always been to show that you don't need a large backyard to grow your own food. Whether you have a balcony, a small patio, or just a sunny corner outside your home, you can grow fresh vegetables with a few containers, quality soil, regular watering, and a little patience. Watching this garden develop week after week has been proof that even a small space can produce an amazing amount of food. I also want to thank all of you for following along with this journey. Your comments, gardening tips, and suggestions have made this series even more enjoyable. I especially appreciate everyone who's been helping solve the mystery of our unexpected pepper plant. It's been great reading your ideas and hearing your own gardening experiences. If you enjoyed the Sky Garden series, please take a moment to give a video a thumbs up, subscribe to Cooking with Rod, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss next week's update. Every like, comment, and subscription helps the channel continue to grow, and it lets me know you're enjoying these weekly garden adventures. Be sure to leave a comment below and tell me what you're growing this season. I'd also love to hear your best guesses on our mystery pepper. Is it a Cowhorn? Is it a long cayenne? Or something completely different? Your experience might be the clue that finally solves the mystery. Thank you so much for spending part of your day with me here in the Sky Garden. I truly appreciate your support, and I'm looking forward to sharing the next stage of this growing season with all of you. Until next time, keep growing, keep learning, and most importantly, enjoy every harvest, big or small. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week for Sky Garden Week 9 here on Cooking with Rod.